Two, one. Hello, everyone. This is Azizi podcast, and we're back after a long hiatus for about a couple months. With me today is my new friend that I met at one of the international meetups in Toronto, Canada, Dhruv Sharma. How's it going, man?
Going great, Samir.
Yeah, so I'm very excited that you came over. This is it's pretty cool because it's in English. I usually do it in Russian,
Yeah,
and so it's I'm a little, I'm a little nervous, but I feel like we're gonna be fine. So,
no, 100%. And this is my first time doing something like this as well. Never
right,
done a podcast before.
and so in the mic.
So I'm very it's amazing that you called me and gave me this
Yeah,
chance to
man,
talk
it was
about.
pretty cool. So, I usually go to these meetups with international people just to,
Yeah,
you know, uh, just to meet people because I'm new in this town and I don't know a lot of people. So I try to get out there. I try to meet new people, and there's this cool app called Meetup,
yeah,
and I just go there and I see there's like this international thing going on, and I
yeah,
usually go to check it out. And yeah, I've met a lot of folks, and they're all pretty cool, pretty interesting. Everyone has their own story. Everyone is a foreigner.
yeah.
Not everyone, but like a lot of them.
Most of them.
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah,
And it's cool to see that you're not the only one who's sort of going through this process, right, of assimilation, of immigration. There's like a bunch of people going through the same thing,
right.
and a lot of them going, struggling even more
Yeah,
than you are. So it's, then you're feeling sort of blessed
yeah,
that in the position that you are most of the time. But just that sort of common goal is
yeah.
pretty cool. What do you think?
No, yeah, we're so blessed that we're living in Toronto because say you were living somewhere else, Hamilton, Cambridge, any other city, they don't have stuff like meetups.
Mm-hmm.
Usually there's like one meetup in a month. It's not very vibrant.
Mm-hmm.
So say you're living in one of those other cities, apart from Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto, there's nothing much you can do as a new immigrant.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes a bit, if you're by yourself, it can get a bit lonely because where would you meet people? Because
Mm-hmm.
meetups are a good way to meet people because everyone's come there to talk to you.
Right, and
Yeah,
you know what the cool thing, but not the cool thing, but like I see people coming all over like places like Mississauga and
yeah,
like just
yeah,
to go
yeah,
to that meetup in downtown, and
yeah.
and I just had to take like the streetcar for like 5 minutes to go there. So
Right.
like for me not to go to such meetups where people are really investing their time, like an hour, like 2 hours
Yeah, yeah.
per evening just to get there and go back home, like I feel like I have to go. I have to because it's just there, and this opportunity is just there.
So tell you something interesting. So I did. I used to live in Hamilton. I lived in Hamilton for about 2.5, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I came to Canada in 2016,
Mm-hmm.
and so all of my friends were in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
So I used to come downtown Toronto every
Damn.
Saturday and Sunday.
How
So
was that? Because I recently took a trip to Hamilton
yeah,
last weekend just to check it out.
yeah,
I took a freaking train
yeah,
for like an hour, and then I had to take a bus for half an hour
yeah,
just to get there.
yeah.
How did you get there? Well, you probably have a car.
I have a car, but before I had a car, I used to take the bus. So
Mm-hmm.
Hamilton is pretty well connected.
Mm-hmm.
You have Hamilton Go buses,
Oh, okay,
and they have express buses every 35 minutes. You get it from Union Station.
got it.
Hamilton is a very nice city
I
to
liked it.
live in. Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. A lot of people sort of shit on Hamilton. I don't know
They
why.
they do shit on Hamilton, and I had people who were staying in Brampton, Mississauga. They were like, Hamilton's dirty, Hamilton's this and that. I
But for
didn't
me, it
really,
was a very like
yeah.
I don't know, like
It
a
had
city.
culture.
It had culture. It
It
had a
had
style.
culture.
It has a
Yeah,
style.
yeah,
It's like the red brick. That's very industrial.
yeah, yeah.
It's nice. Like I liked it. There's something in it. So. Have you heard about people investing in Hamilton, like in their real estate? And
I have, and it's gonna really go up like crazy
yeah,
because if you see around Toronto, there's not much place left,
right.
and Mississauga, Brampton, they're all pretty much tapped out, and there's land available, but
Yeah.
it's so expensive.
All right. So we were
Yeah,
talking about Hamilton, and
yeah.
the real estate is really vibrant there,
Mhm.
and I don't know, a lot of not a lot, but like people that I talk to, they sort of look at Hamilton as an opportunity.
It is, especially if you've been to Dundas and Castor.
Mm-hmm.
Those places are so, the houses are so nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's right by the countryside, so you have a bit of both. You have
Mm-hmm.
the urban concrete jungle like Hamilton,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the countryside. So you can just, it's a 5 minute drive. You can just get out in the countryside and feel
Mm-hmm.
like you're in the middle of the fields, everything, farms. So it's amazing.
Why were you in Hamilton?
I went to school there in Hamilton,
Right.
McMaster University.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
Nice. So that's where you got your master university, right?
that's
And
right.
masters in McMasters.
Master and McMaster.
Nice, nice. Wait, so how did you like? Did you go to like a bachelor? Did you get your bachelor's in Canada as well, or how did that work?
No, I got my bachelor's back home, so bachelor's and master's.
Hmm.
And then I came to Canada in 2016.
Back home, that's in
That's India.
India.
Yes.
Where in India are you from?
So I'm from Delhi,
Hmm.
Chandigarh. So Chandigarh is north of Delhi. It's from where the mountains start.
Oh, cool.
So it's a pretty cool place.
Nice, nice.
So I did my bachelor's like down south, then worked for a bit. Did my master's in economics from
Hmm.
Chandigarh.
Hmm.
Worked for a year more,
Hmm.
and then came to do my MBA in Canada.
Very cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so then how did you decide to go to Canada?
Uh, Honestly, one of the major considerations was that I was considering Australia and the States as well.
Uh-huh.
But with the States, there's a big problem, and I think you would know about that. That once you complete your degree, you're
They
not
kick you out.
they kick you out unless you get the lottery.
Yeah, yeah, that's quite a system they have. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
So once you spend about $200,000 to $300,000,
Hmm.
you don't really want to be kicked out because then you can't recover that money
Yeah.
because other like say I do my MBA, go back to India,
Hmm.
they won't pay me the same amount of money because
Exactly.
for doing the same job, there's a 8 to 9 times difference
It's
in
quite a
pay.
it's quite
Yeah,
a like a paradox, I'd say. Like you
yeah,
go abroad to study, but like you're really going abroad to like actually immigrate. Like you're because again, like
yeah,
once you get your education, like there's really zero motivation to go back home, like
yeah,
for just purely for economical
yeah,
reasons,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I just noticed like my headphones are blue and my shirt is blue and yours is white and white.
Okay,
We have matching colors here.
100%.
Yeah. But yeah. Okay. So then you decided to go to Canada.
Yeah,
Cool.
and it
That
was
was what 2016 you said?
2016,
Uh huh.
yes. And yeah, so immigration, as you said, was one of the key reasons why I decided to come to Canada because it's all about protecting your investment. I
Mhm.
spent about $100,000 to
Mhm.
do my MBA,
Mhm.
and if like getting to stay back in Canada and just working here
Mhm.
ensures that I can just make back
Mhm.
or just not have my money go wasted because if
Right.
I go back to India they'll say okay, it's great you have a Canadian degree,
Mhm.
that doesn't matter much to us. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
So you have two master's degrees and a bachelor degree.
I have two master's degrees. Yeah,
Nice. And it's a master's in what?
it's in economics.
In McMaster?
No, that's back home.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. What about McMaster?
I have an MBA in marketing, so
Oh,
it's a
nice.
specialization in marketing.
Cool. How did you decide to get in that major?
Always wanted to do an MBA,
Uh
and
huh.
marketing was my because I have worked previously in marketing as
Uh
well,
huh.
marketing research and sales.
Uh
So
huh.
that was a logical step up. But looking back, I'm not sure if it was the right
Yeah. What do you think you should have
idea.
done?
I should have done finance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Why is that?
just the jobs, man. Like
Okay.
finance has, especially McMaster, you have co-ops. You can get easily a co-op in RPC,
Mhm.
CIBC. There's so many more options,
Mhm.
and Toronto is very finance centric.
Mhm.
Marketing does have jobs, but those jobs usually the starting trajectory isn't that good. So it's like the logical decision, the
Mhm.
smart decision is to do a finance
Right. Right.
specialization. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, we're the computer science, like a lot of doing that because
yeah,
like this Toronto is like getting this is like a startup hub. Like
yeah,
Google is moving more and more people here,
yeah,
and I don't know. I feel like it's only the beginning for Toronto
yeah.
in the terms of like just the tech, you know.
Yeah, and it's getting all the symptoms of a tech city, overpriced houses and everything
Yeah,
else. Yeah,
exactly.
it's getting there.
Yeah, that's kind of like, and that sucks, right? So,
Yeah,
but I'm glad that they have all this rent control in place
yeah.
for things like this. But ultimately, I feel like it's a good thing because the purchasing power of the consumer in the city will increase because the bigger salaries from tech and all of that. But
It,
at the same time, they're all
but
moving here because everyone's getting like, the salaries are less than in the Silicon Valley. I would say
yeah,
by like 40%.
but then that just pushes people out who are not in tech because they're
Right,
not getting those salaries, right?
right, right, exactly.
So the increase in salaries is only for people working in tech and those startups
Mm-hmm,
and with the
mm-hmm.
crazy investor money, not like, most tech companies, startups don't make a profit. It's only
Of
because
course.
of the angel
Yeah,
investors,
yeah,
they
yeah.
get pumped up. So, uh, yeah, like the city has to do something about the rent
Mm-hmm.
and everything, and they have done it because they
Right.
have rent control in the city.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Which is good, I guess.
yeah.
If you were a tenant, not that good if you're.
Once you get a house, it's great, but just getting inside the doors.
Mm-hmm.
I have an example. So there's one guy, like I don't know him. So he rented a condo like 10 years back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, his rent is still $1,200,
Mm-hmm.
whereas the rent now for that place is 2,500.
Yeah.
He didn't leave the place, so he just kept like 2% increase every year
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something. He's still at $1,200
Yeah.
in
Mm-hmm.
downtown Toronto. That's
Right.
amazing.
Right. And I think that's common too.
Yeah,
And I don't know. I'm thinking, what do you think about this real estate deal here? I mean, everyone's so excited, everyone's so confident,
yeah,
and I mean, it definitely makes sense to buy a condo rather than renting it out for like
yeah.
2,100, 2,200, 2,500.
Look, I think the market is pretty overheated.
Mm-hmm.
But again, on the same side, if Canada was just like any other country, then the
Mm-hmm.
market would have gone down. But the thing is, the caveat is that Canada receives so many immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
And because of all those immigrants, the property, like there's always demand.
Yeah.
Even with these prices, people are willing to buy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and plus all the money coming from China, like
Mm-hmm.
people buy these houses as an investment because they know it'll go up
Right.
and they want to get money out of China, invest in property here.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, in any other, like Australia is a good example. Australia was also similar to Canada
Mm-hmm.
up until recently. They
What
used to take
happened?
in a lot of immigrants,
Uh-huh.
and it used to be exactly like Canada, like carbon copy of Canada.
Okay.
But then they did some restrictions on immigration, made it very tough.
Okay.
And now the demand for new housing has fallen,
I
and
see.
you have seen about a 20% decline in prices in Sydney, Melbourne right now. They're going through an
I see.
economic slump right now.
So a similar black swan for Canada would be some sort of a conservative leadership coming in power in the Canadian government and restricting the
Yeah, yeah.
immigration.
Restricting immigration would be one of the few ways that you could stop this economy, because Canadian economy isn't increasing at all.
Right.
It's only because of immigration. The GDP growth is almost
Hmm.
nothing. It's only because of immigration that they're still,
We're just bringing our money here.
yeah,
What
exactly.
do you think about it? Like,
About Canada?
well, if you were an economist, like working with the Canadian
Yeah,
government, like what's the outlook here?
I'd say, man, just keep on like keep up with the immigration, because that seems to be
Hmm.
just supporting the Canadian economy. But my advice would be that when you come to Canada, like just give them some restrictions, that because everyone's coming to the GTA,
Hmm.
it's getting overcrowded.
Right.
But
GTA is the Greater Toronto Area
yeah,
for those who don't know.
it's from Oshawa
Hmm.
like to the west,
Hmm.
up until Burlington to the east, right?
Hmm.
And north, I think Richmond until Richmond Hill.
Hmm.
Everyone's coming here.
Right.
If you could have some restrictions, okay, make immigration, like keep immigration easy,
Hmm.
but just tell them, oh, you, like for the first 2 years,
Hmm.
you have to live in Cambridge or somewhere outside Aurelia, Owen Sound, like, so that
Right.
because all those places, they also would help, they also would
Local
benefit
economies.
the local economy would also benefit apart from GTA, because
Hmm.
if you go outside the GTA, it's empty.
Hmm.
There's it doesn't have much going on. So
Hmm.
with more people in those areas, like Ontario is so much more than just the GTA. It's a
Hmm.
massive state. It's bigger than France, Germany.
Yeah.
Like it's the area is just tremendous. So if you could have people, or not even in Ontario, even in Saskatchewan, just give them the permit for Saskatchewan,
Hmm.
like some caveats. First 3 years you gotta live here for, and after that you're free to move.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's something to really consider. I feel like this idea has, good ground.
Yeah, because right now this is unsustainable, because people are not happy.
Hmm.
The local Canadian citizens, they're not
Hmm.
very happy right now with
Hmm.
so much
Do
immigration.
you think there is an organic sort of spread out from the GTA once they understand like the new immigrants, like, oh, like this is like not what I expected. There's a lot of people, a lot of competition. Maybe I should like move out somewhere. Does this happen at all?
No, this doesn't happen.
It,
Most immigrants just
we just
stay
stay
here.
here. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because the funny thing about Toronto is that which I don't like is they have a lot of enclaves in the city. So by enclaves, I mean you have certain areas where there's just Eastern Europeans living. There's certain areas where just like the
Mm-hmm.
Indian population lives.
Mm-hmm.
There's certain areas where just the Chinese population lives. So anyone coming from those countries,
Mm-hmm.
just go there. And
Uh-huh.
yeah,
To those like secluded communities where it's mostly like ethnic based sort of
yeah.
thing.
So it's like an ethnic based community.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not really good for a country. Like
Mm-hmm.
you should, there should be more.
Mm-hmm.
So say someone living in for say Brampton, where a lot of Indians live,
Mm-hmm.
you can even get by without speaking English.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because there's so many Indians living there.
Right.
So it like it doesn't. So like that's why anyone coming from any of those countries,
Mm-hmm.
they'll just go there. So they have no incentive to move outside They'll
Right.
just
Right.
outside Toronto. They'll just they'll just come there.
Yeah, I never experienced that. Like, I was always wondering how it is to be like in a community, like you are actually in a foreign country, but
Yeah,
everyone around you is like from your background and at
yeah,
least speaks your language.
yeah,
Like, I can't imagine living like in, I don't know, what used to be Brighton Beach, for example, for Russians, and
yeah,
or I don't know if there's a community like that. I know there's a lot of Ukrainians here, but I don't know. It's not like that for Russian speakers, I would say. But
yeah,
I was always wondering, but because sometimes you're like, like I'm kind of tired. I want to like speak my language or something like that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there is some sort of a level of support when you're in
There
those.
is a level of support, but then you're not really challenging yourself. You're not really going out of your comfort zone.
Right, right.
Uh,
I think you know who
yeah,
it's great for, like for immigrants who bring their elderly parents here,
exactly, exactly.
and I feel like that's the huge challenge for elderly
Yeah,
who are immigrating here is like that socializing aspect,
yeah,
right? Especially if there's a language barrier.
yeah. Because if the elderly parents come, they won't go to a meetup to meet people.
Exactly, which is
Right,
actually a good
yeah,
idea. Maybe should be an app for that.
yeah. App
Yeah,
for meetups for elderly people,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because
exactly.
they honestly have nothing to do. That's
Yeah.
why they they have to go. Say you're from China, you have to go to Markham because like
Hmm.
if again your English
Is,
isn't
is is
great.
is that like where statistically a lot of Chinese Mandarin speakers?
Yeah, Markham.
Okay, cool. See, like I
Markham.
don't know all this stuff. Like you know all this like geo geo stuff,
Yeah, I've been
geographical.
living here for about like almost 4 years, so you
Nice.
pick some stuff up.
Cool, cool. So how was your master's degree? Like what's was it challenging for you? Was it a piece of cake? You know, what's
Um, it was
because
pretty.
McMaster is a good school, right?
It's
It's
a
like
good school, and MBA is supposed to be so. The thing with
yeah,
MBA is that it's it's not really tough. Like the subjects aren't really tough.
yeah, a
They
bunch of
just
case
give you a lot
studies.
of work.
Right.
It's just the quantity of work.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But the the difficulty level itself
Mm-hmm.
isn't very high. So it's just like a lot of work,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like go go go. It's
You know what was my favorite thing when I did my MBA?
yeah.
We had this freaking class where it was a competition. So we had a virtual company. It was a
Uh-huh.
shoe company,
Right?
and you had four different regions around the world, and you had different like statistical factors.
Yeah.
And every week you had like to tweak some things, some statisticals, like
Mm-hmm.
increase output, decrease quality, increase marketing, like stuff like that, like fire people, increase salary, stuff. Like
Right.
you have to like tweak all those statistical
Right.
things, and then the machine would sort of like run its algorithm,
Yeah.
and then it will spit out a result in terms of how much sales you've done. And then everyone else does the same thing.
Right.
And so at the end of the week, like you're just, comparing the results
Yeah.
like publicly.
Yeah.
And so you're just competing based on sales, based on your decisions as a CEO that you've done.
Yeah.
That was the best thing ever because I got so competitive at this, and it was exciting because there's a lot of choices and the interface was cool. But I think that was the most like favorite thing of mine.
I had a similar thing. It was an airline simulation. So you were running an airline business,
Uh huh.
buying aircraft and stuff like
Oh,
that.
that's pretty cool. Okay.
So, and then you could see that,
Look at you.
what's happening.
McMaster doesn't mess around.
Uh,
We're just selling
sure
shoes
doesn't.
in Cal State. You guys are
We sell
airline.
aircraft,
Yeah.
so
Look at you. Okay. Cool. Cool. Nice. Did you get any connections? Like I know the MBA is really great for connections and like
yeah, that's
networking.
honestly MBA is the point of MBA is networking. That's what they
Right.
teach you in MBA, and that's what they focus on. Like, okay, just network, make as many connections
Right.
as possible. It's great for networking.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't. I didn't make full use of that, to be honest.
Why not? You're not like as social.
No, I was just in my own thing. So, when I came here,
Yeah.
I was doing part-time work as well.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in McDonald's just to support.
Oh, nice.
So, the school was Monday to Friday.
How was it, by the way, working in McDonald's after you have a master's degree in economics in India? Like, what's
No, it's
did
fine.
you have to
Like,
overstep yourself?
no, 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 not at all. Like, for me, every job is,
Uh-huh.
no work is like beneath me. Every job, like, work is work.
Right.
It doesn't matter. So, I'll do anything. I'll clean the floors. I'll do whatever. It honestly doesn't matter to me. It's not like a matter
Yeah.
of pride to me. Or,
I remember I was
yeah,
doing IT support for $9 an hour
yeah.
at my university because I couldn't work off campus. So
Hmm.
I was doing my MBA and working and getting $9 for. That was
Yeah.
like I don't know, but yeah, money's money. You
Money's
gotta make
money,
your
man.
rent.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, man.
And so McDonald's is tough work though.
Oh yeah.
It's nonstop.
What were you doing? Were you like flipping burgers? Like
I
what's
was flipping burgers.
damn.
Flipping burgers, making
That
fries.
makes for a great story. Like you will have like a great biography, like just based on that. Like
Yeah.
uh huh.
But honestly, in Canada, most people have worked in McDonald's at some point of time.
Oh yeah, I mean it's especially for Canadians, like the
Yeah.
local people, like Americans, like all of them works in those fast food chains. Like that's
Yeah.
like a thing for them, you know. But we always come here with like this education and all of
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
or like we go to school. Like for
Yeah.
me, like it was a huge step, like to do like to actually how it happened. I was earning $20 per hour
Uh-huh.
before that. After my bachelor's, I was doing like I was working two jobs, but I was doing bookkeeping services. But then I
Mm-hmm.
went to grad school,
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't work anymore, only on
Right.
campus, and they
Right.
couldn't offer me anything but the $9 per hour. So for
Yeah.
me, it was just like fuck, like I should like so like this like sort of step back and ups. Like that's where like for me was like a lot of mental struggle.
Right.
But yeah, overall, I think it was worth it because just based on experience,
Yeah.
this is where I talk to like learn to talk to people, teach them stuff. I talked to a lot of professors, academia, fix their computers, stuff like that.
100%.
Yeah, so that was actually a beneficial thing.
Yeah. So because of I used to work overnights in McDonald's
Hmm.
Saturdays and Sundays,
Hmm.
10 p.m. to 6 a.m.
Right.
So there wasn't much time left for.
Uh-huh.
I never used to go out on Saturdays and Sundays, and the rest of the times were like for gym and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Evenings gym, Friday, Saturday, Sunday McDonald's.
Right.
So I didn't really make much use of what you say, the networking,
Right.
going out.
Who were your classmates like in general? Like what kind of profession they came from? They probably all were working as well, right?
Mostly, surprisingly, most people doing MBA right now are engineers or science background.
Right.
Yeah,
Were they all older folks? Like in my class, there's a lot of older folks. I
they
mean,
were
by older, I mean like over 40, I would say, like
they were
35,
older
40.
folks. I
Yeah.
was doing full-time MBA. I didn't
Uh-huh.
have a co-op program.
Right.
So anyone doing MBA, I would highly suggest doing a co-op program, not a full-time,
Mm-hmm.
because co-op they give you work is part of your MBA. So you
Yeah, I see a lot of
for
job postings with co-op.
yeah, yeah.
Like Maple Leafs do this all the time. Like, what the hell is co-op? How do I get in that?
So co-op is essentially you study for 4 months
Yeah.
and then you work for 4 months and then 4 months study, 4 months work. So
Uh-huh.
you're getting experience, Canadian experience as you
Right.
do your MBA, right?
Right.
And it's very beneficial. So right as soon as you're done MBA, you get a good job because you already have experience.
Right.
And it's mostly in one of those co-ops that you get a very good job.
Nice.
Full time you don't get any such.
Uh-huh.
It finishes earlier, of course, because
Mm-hmm.
there's no work component.
Yeah. So once you finish your grad school, like, what was that like for you? Like, were you like, okay, I have a plan? Did you have a plan established?
Yeah, so once I finished my grad school, so my thing was, well, yeah, like one thing I didn't tell you, I did in my grad school, I went for an exchange
What is like to another country?
to another country, yes,
Oh wow.
for
Okay.
5 months.
Nice. Where did you go?
I went to France.
Wow.
Yeah,
It all goes back to France in my life. I don't know why. Anyways,
everything.
so what's
So the
how was that?
reason I brought it up was that I would suggest anyone who has a chance to go on exchange,
Uh-huh.
just go. It just opens up your mind so much.
Even though you already are, because I had an opportunity to go to China
Yeah,
and I didn't go. But you're saying like even if because I was already a foreigner, I was like I don't need your experience. Like I'm
yeah.
already experiencing what you're experiencing.
Oh yeah, no, but again, traveling
Oh
is
yeah,
the single best thing you can do. Like
yeah, that'd be great to
it
go.
teaches you more than any education you can get.
Yeah, yeah. So
Like
how was it? Where did you go?
I used to stay in Marseille.
Uh-huh.
So I went to Spain. I lived in Switzerland, Germany,
Uh-huh.
Czech Republic. I went to Monaco. I went to Italy.
Right.
It was Prague.
Uh-huh. But
Uh,
like you stayed basic, like we were based in France.
I was based
What
in
did you
France.
do? Did you do like classes or like was it like a
Classes.
factory?
No, no, classes. So 4 months was
Uh-huh.
just I was doing a semester abroad essentially.
Was it like with
It was very easy.
was it like with French people?
It was with French people, yes.
Nice. So how was that? Like did you find any friends there? How's the
Not French people.
not French? You're not friends with French people?
No, because French people they only speak in French.
Uh-huh.
So usually, if you don't speak French, you don't really interact a lot with French people.
So
I was mostly friends with like other Europeans.
so French people don't speak English?
They do speak English, but they'd rather speak in French.
I
Like
see.
in France, which is understandable. It's your country. Like, you want to speak in French.
Uh-huh.
So all the international there's a lot of international students from Germany, from Norway, Denmark,
Hmm.
Italy, Spain. So we all just hung out together, like
Cool,
other
cool.
people.
Nice. Did you pick up on French at all?
Not at all, not a single word.
Man,
I know
I'm trying to study it right now.
bonjour. I know bonjour.
You bonjour and go after yourself.
So
That's ça va. Go ça va yourself. Yeah, I have yet to check it out, but
yeah.
I don't know. I'm hearing all these crazy stories about how French people are, you know, not friendly, and
No,
I'm
no, no. It's not like that. It's just that if you speak French, they are friendly.
uh-huh.
But if you don't speak French, they don't care.
Okay, so you have to deserve their friendliness.
You have to deserve their friendliness by speaking French.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's what I'm hearing too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting there.
But isn't it the same thing? You come to Canada and say you're in Toronto and you
Yeah.
don't speak English.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone's gonna be friendly with you?
Well, I think so. That's the point. Like that's what I'm hearing about France is like if you're going to France and
Hmm.
I don't think it's if it's like just English in particular or just any other language, but they're
Yeah.
like all pissed off because you're speaking English to them.
Yeah.
But like in Kazakhstan, America,
Yeah.
Toronto, I don't know if you speak other language and you're trying to get some help.
Yeah.
Um, hold on, I think we have. Yeah, I need to turn on the vent. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem.
But anyways, I feel like it's fine. You can just sort of explain on fingers. But anyways,
Yeah.
forget about that. It's
Uh-huh.
I'm just curious about
Yeah.
France because, I'm meeting a lot of French people and my neighbors are French.
Yeah.
They invited me to they are actually very friendly to me.
Yeah. Look.
And that's why I'm like a little bit confused about the whole thing, like about the stereotypes. And
Yeah.
I guess what I'm realizing is that not everyone is the same.
Yeah.
Like my neighbors upstairs, they're so friendly, they're so welcoming, and I'm really grateful. Like they're just like, yeah, come chill with us. Like, hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
That's so nice of them. Yeah. See, so it's
Yeah, yeah. So how was so you did that for 4 months,
yeah.
and then you came back.
Yeah.
Like, were you thinking about like, okay, I need to have a plan. I need to like look for jobs now. Like, what were you looking
Yeah,
for?
yeah. So my thing was I have to get a job as soon as possible. Like before, so that was my thing. I have to have a job before I graduate because
Hmm.
I didn't want to have the situation where I am graduated, I'm still working at McDonald's, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, so I just got onto that, and I did like I was one of the first people to get a job, but that was a mistake.
Where were you looking for it?
So I was looking for something in marketing,
Which websites did you use?
Indeed, LinkedIn,
Hmm.
but with and the McMaster, the
Networking.
job
Well,
portal,
yeah,
yeah, the website.
Hmm.
So yeah, but that was a mistake on my part
Why?
because I was happy to get whatever came first instance. So
Mhm.
whatever came my way, I just accepted the first job that came,
Okay.
and I didn't choose well.
What happened? What did you choose?
I chose to work for Enterprise, the car rental company.
Oh, yeah, I
the
have some friends working there.
Yeah, the
Yeah, yeah.
biggest car. They're massive. They're $21 billion
Yeah, yeah.
with revenue. They're in 91 countries.
Hmm.
I was just way overqualified for that job.
Got it. What did you do there?
So I was in their management program, management development program.
Mhm.
As part of the program, you have to start from the bottom as a management trainee.
Right.
And you're essentially doing everything. Like even when you're a assistant manager, you're doing the same stuff.
Hmm.
You have to clean cars as well. You have to pick people up, drop them off.
Hmm.
You have to rent cars. I was renting cars.
Right. But that
Uh,
was the part of the deal, right? To become a manager.
That's a part of the deal to become a manager. Yeah,
Right.
but
But you felt like, okay, like
no,
you could have done.
especially after doing two masters, I don't think that
Yeah,
was
I feel you.
yeah. So and that's on me, not on enterprise. I mean,
Hmm.
I knew before going in,
Right.
and I just took the first. I didn't I didn't want to wait, or I just took, okay, it's the first opportunity. I just took it,
Hmm.
and yeah, that set me back quite a bit because then at first when you join a new job, you're very excited. You don't think
Right.
about, yeah, first 6 7 months,
Hmm.
and then it started to like being overqualified for any job is the worst feeling ever. So it
Mm.
can't last. So my advice is just
Just
not be
be
over.
picky. Be picky.
Yeah, be picky. Yeah, especially
Hmm.
your first job because that sets you up
Hmm. Hmm.
for
It's funny because like there's different philosophies about that. A lot of
yeah.
people say like, well, for your first job, just just don't be too picky. Just get whatever, get in that workforce and do your thing.
But only if it's your first job ever.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
yeah,
A lot of thoughts going through my mind in
yeah,
terms of what should I prefer,
yeah,
and coming out from California, it's there's definitely a difference, in
yeah,
economical difference
yeah,
between Los Angeles and Toronto, and
yeah.
so you have to like sort of put yourself in the mindset where you say like, okay, this is not Los Angeles, this is not LA, like.
Is it way cheaper in
Yeah,
Toronto? Yeah,
so Los Angeles is more expensive, but it also pays better, right?
yeah,
Toronto is pays less here, but it's also cheaper. So you have to like really get into that mindset. It's like, okay, like
yeah,
for Toronto, it's okay.
yeah.
If you're gonna travel to Los Angeles with that kind of thing, it's not that bad. It's not the best, but
Right. Yeah.
but this is where my competitives I feel like will kick in, and
Mm,
I'll try to beat that LA price,
yeah.
LA salary.
Yeah.
Um, cool. And so, okay, so how long you worked there?
Uh, Close to 2 years, one and a
Wow.
half. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
and I just left. Last like December 31st was my last day.
Oh, cool. Congrats.
Thank you.
Nice. But so you have, a year and a half of experience at the great corporation, I would say. I mean, it still counts for something.
It does, but and it's a great company to work for. I
Right.
mean, if you're all bought in like with their thing, the work hours and everything, you can do very well.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't a good fit,
Right.
and that's something which I feel everyone has to also see because just like when you're dating, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the two people aren't a good fit,
Mm-hmm.
if they're not compatible,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't work.
Right.
So as a person as well, if you when you're working as an employee, you
Mm-hmm.
have to be a good fit with the company. If you both of you aren't compatible, the values and everything, it won't work out ever.
Right.
So me, I wasn't compatible with the company. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's why it would always have been a struggle for me to do well in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what are you doing now? Like after you quit enterprise, like I
Yeah.
think that's like the juiciest part of our conversations because I'm really excited to talk
Yeah.
about that one.
Yeah. So while I was with Enterprise,
Uh-huh.
so I started so one fine day when I was working at Enterprise,
Mm-hmm.
I met this director from Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
How did you meet him?
he just came in to rent a car.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then I met him, and his name was Harris Goldberg. He's done some movies like Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo, and all those.
I remember
Yeah,
that movie.
yeah, yeah,
I had a
yeah.
VHS of that.
The Animal, and all those
Oh, cool. So
movies.
he's great pals with Rob Schneider.
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, cool, cool. Uh-huh. Which, by the
So
way, I haven't seen him for a while.
yeah, yeah, I think he's done pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
So I met the guy, and he just came to rent a car. I just gave
Mm-hmm.
him a good deal, and I was just talking to him,
Mm-hmm.
and he told me like, yeah, you got a good face,
I like your cheekbones.
like your cheekbones.
Uh-huh.
And he said you should send me a couple of get a get some shots done of
Uh-huh.
yourself, of your face, like headshots,
Uh-huh.
and then send them to me.
What
Uh,
did you think about that? Were you like, was that crazy for you? Like, what the hell? Like,
yeah, because it was kind of the first time, like, and I took him seriously because he's like a guy of the industry. He didn't want anything from me. He was just like,
uh-huh.
like just send, like, think you have a good face and
Uh-huh.
stuff. So I went to the photographer to get
Uh-huh.
some headshots
So
done.
okay, so he told you that, and you were like, "Yeah, I'm pretty. I'm handsome. I can do the photo shoot." You're like,
Yeah,
"That's exactly what I needed. That validation from the big guy from Hollywood."
100%.
Cool. And you're like, so you got all inspired, right? So that was like a special day for you.
Oh, totally special day. Yeah.
Nice, nice.
Uh,
And so when did you like decide like, all right, I'm following his advice? Were you like right away decide to do that?
no, I did the headshots.
Uh huh.
Um, and then when I went to the photographer was like, "Yo, you could legit do modeling because you're very comfortable in front of the camera and you photograph well."
Uh huh.
So that was the second cue, right?
So I mean, you're all in the MBAs and economies and
Yeah,
marketing
yeah,
and blah blah blah. Being from India with all the stereotypes,
yeah,
of like doing great, achieving, dominating everything and everyone.
yeah.
Um, how like was that like and you were like all of a sudden like I'm just gonna become like a media person, like a model or an actor. Like were you like how did you come to this?
No, so like for me, always haven't been one of those, like I won't say narrow-minded, but I'm just very open to doing so. For me, it's always do because life isn't very long. So if you think, oh, you shouldn't have any regrets in
Mm-hmm.
life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say I pass this opportunity up,
Right.
and no, I have to do a regular job because that's what society wants me to do, a regular job.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I would have been like, oh, what if I had done this?
Mm-hmm. What ifs?
What
Like
if?
what ifs?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want any what ifs.
Yeah.
Like that's so worst case scenario. What will happen? Uh, I- it doesn't work out. I still have my degrees. I can get a job like that like right away.
Yeah.
So it's a no lose scenario like
Mm-hmm.
essentially. And if it works out, great.
Mm-hmm.
I have a new skill, and yeah. So
So you've done those photo shoots?
yeah. So how it happened? So I joined up a website. So it's Model Mayhem. So I was still part time back then.
Uh-huh.
I was staying in Hamilton then.
Oh, okay.
At that point. So I joined up this website called Model Mayhem. That's where models can post their pictures and they get connected with photographers
Mm-hmm.
wanting to do photo shoots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's mostly a trade.
Mm-hmm.
So they take your photos, they give all of their photos to you for free,
Okay.
and you give them your time. So,
Right.
and they can use the photos like whatever, like for galleries and
They have
like
they
for
have the rights.
yeah, they have the rights, and I have the right to use the photos however I wish.
Okay.
So I did like a ton of those,
Mm-hmm.
and I started adding stuff to my Instagram, my photos,
Mm-hmm.
and so eventually, so then I moved to Toronto in September.
Right.
Yeah,
September
September of last year,
2019.
2019.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So I moved here in October, so
Mm,
okay, cool. So it's not
yeah.
that long ago.
No, not at all.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't much of a move because Hamilton's right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have a car. I just packed all my stuff up and just,
But you moved here specifically for to pursue your career in, so what do you call it? Modeling, acting, or something else?
it's modeling. It's
Uh-huh.
modeling. Not an actor as of yet, but the logical. So I'm a lifestyle model. So lifestyle is mostly doing print ads, commercials, and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff. So the
Mm-hmm.
logical path from lifestyle modeling is being an actor.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So you
Mm.
moved to Toronto, and what else have you done, like in terms of like pursue your dream? Like, did you do like more photo shoots? Did you connect to people? How did this work?
Oh no,
Like, do you have like an agency? Like, how does this work?
I kept doing photo shoots, and then still at that point of time, I was still working with enterprise,
Oh, cool.
and it was
That's
and it's a bit challenging because these things are very erratic. They don't have a set schedule,
mm-hmm.
and understandably, like when you're working full time, they can't allow you to just go just take a couple days off in the week randomly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to do a photo shoot and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's totally understand. Like, no job would do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept doing photo shoots, and at still that point, it was still a part-time thing. I had no intention of making it my full-time
Right.
job. But then, like close to the end of the year, I got a like I got a call from Spot Six Management. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're like one of the best agencies in Toronto,
Mm-hmm.
and they offered me a 2-year contract as a
Oh wow,
lifestyle model. Yeah.
cool. How does this work? They just call you up and say, "Hey, we liked your
No,
pictures."
they have so just like in baseball, football, they have scouts who go places and like see people.
Uh huh.
So they also have agents and scouts who see people like on Instagram and all those social media and see if any face stands out,
Uh huh.
and then they reach out to them. So they reached out to me,
Uh huh.
and they spoke with me, and then they called me in for a chat,
Uh
and
huh.
then yeah, that was
Were you
when,
excited?
yeah, totally.
Nice.
So at that point, I was thinking, yeah, I'll do.
So, what kind of contract was that?
It's essentially an exclusive contract that I can't work for any other agency.
Uh huh.
But again, it's not like a regular job.
Mhm.
It's still an on-call kind of thing,
Mhm.
and it's up to me. They'll get me the auditions with Moles and like all
Mhm.
those big brand companies.
Mhm.
But if I'm not good enough to get those ads, I get
Mhm.
nothing.
So you pretty much started in September. So, right, in terms of like taking it seriously and moving to Toronto and all of that.
I was doing it even in Hamilton,
Mhm.
but September was when I moved to Toronto, and that was also because of like I have friends in Toronto. I
Mhm.
used to come here practically every weekend, so I was like, yeah, Hamilton's a great place to stay, and it's like so much cheaper. It's like half the price. The rent is half.
Right.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah, like like I'm just wasting my time staying in Hamilton
Mhm.
because it's great for families and stuff, like when you
Mhm.
have a family, you want to raise a family. For like a young single, like a guy, it's not really nothing much to do, right?
So tell me, do you still like it? Do you enjoy it? You were not disappointed in how this world works, like going to castings? Like, do you feel anxious about it? How do you feel?
It is challenging, like
Mhm.
I'll be honest, it's really challenging because you have the thing is just good looks, like just looks won't get you anything because everyone there is good looking.
Mhm.
it's it's not really about that, right?
Mhm.
It's about how you're in front of the camera, and there's hundreds of people. There's like
Mhm.
50, 60 people at the auditions.
Right.
And
So what would you say? Like, what do you need to do besides just being good looking? Do you need to like what advice would you give to like an aspiring
be
model?
on time.
Be on time. Okay.
Number one, like the most important, even with all the photo shoots I've done,
Mhm.
the biggest problem the photographers and everyone has with models is they are not on time,
Mhm.
and then they cancel, and they cancel all the time. They just don't come.
So if oh okay, so they cancel all the time.
Yeah, just be punctual, be on time. 50%, it's done. That's all you have to do. Just be on time and
Oh,
don't
so if you're
cancel.
not on time, they cancel.
No, no, no. Say I have a photo shoot with you, the photographer.
Right.
I'll just I'll just either most models are not on time.
Mhm.
They're like half an hour late.
Why is that? Like why are they not on time? What the hell?
It's like no self-discipline. Mostly they're younger guys and girls,
Uh-huh.
like 18, 19. They don't care.
Okay.
They don't care. So either they're not on time or they don't show up.
Got it.
And then everyone's time is wasted, right? The
Yeah.
photographers come there at the location
Yeah.
and they don't message and or they'll just say, "Oh, sorry, can't come."
Mhm.
Bye.
Mhm.
So just be on time.
Mhm.
And two is have a good attitude,
Okay, so be like chill, smiling,
smiling, have a positive.
be willing to do what they tell you to do in terms of like being in front of the camera,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. So these are the two basic things like anyone can do.
Mhm.
And if you have these two things, you like people would like you, and like that's most of the things. People should
Mhm.
like you. People should like working with you,
Right.
and
So attitude is important.
attitude is very important. Yeah,
So like an interpersonal relationships, right? Like
yeah.
just be nice. And what about like starting a chat, a conversation? Like what about all the soft skills? Like do you have to be sociable to do that, or like what's
Look,
I'm just thinking like what else can you do to like succeed?
look, man, it's essentially acting. So even if you're not social, you can act.
Yeah.
They can act like yeah, you can act to be social. So it's not really a skill which is required. You
Mhm.
just have to seem genuine
Mhm.
and not fake.
Mhm.
So being social isn't. You can always try to be social. It's not the end of the
Mhm.
world, right?
What is the hardest part about it? about going to casting and
It's very as I said, there's no set schedule, so you might not have anything for 2 months,
hmm
3 months, and then all of a sudden you'll have like three projects.
hmm
It's and that's tough because A, you can't hold a regular full-time job
hmm
because again it's on call. You
hmm
get called in for auditions like I'll get a message today, okay, tomorrow's an audition, go there.
right.
You can't hold a regular full-time job.
Is there anything you can do to like increase your productivity or like how can you like increase your
Hmm.
probability of success in this industry? Do you because you're already signed with an agent?
Yeah, yeah,
Like, do
yeah.
you need to hit them up like, hey, yo, I'm ready to go. Come on.
Just keep asking them for feedback.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I went to the audition. Obviously, it wasn't successful.
Yeah.
Did they give you any feedback?
hmm
And another thing, and I would do that as well in the near future, is get some acting classes.
hmm
Yeah,
hmm
because you need to do a little bit of acting because
Right.
for what I'm doing, I'm not a runway model. For runway modeling, you don't need acting,
Right.
but for lifestyle, you
You
kind
just
of
have to
do.
have that cold steel face.
Cold steel face, the bitch face.
Bitch face. Sure. Hey, how do you keep in shape?
Working out, man. Lifting heavy, working out,
Uh-huh. What's
and
your weight right now?
140.
Uh-huh. Cool.
140 so yeah, it's that's a major part of modeling as well. You gotta stay in shape because what you do is if when you have low body fat percentage,
Uh-huh.
your face gets more chiseled,
Yeah.
and that's what they want.
Yeah, they want that cheekbone structure. They want that
They want this like this thing.
this and like this thing needs to
Yeah,
like stick out.
yeah.
Oh man.
So cheekbone and the jaw.
And like it should be like 18% or less of body fat to like
Oh no,
achieve.
18% is too high.
Oh yeah?
10% is
Jesus Christ. Do you even measure your fat right now? Like the percentage?
yeah.
Or it just
So
kind of works out for you, so you just like work it while it lasts?
I'm at 10% or lower. So
Oh my god.
yeah,
I'm probably at like 35.
just fine. You don't unless you're in modeling
Right.
or you don't really need to be below 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it.
I feel like you actually need to be above 10% in most of the cases. Just for the health reasons.
Yeah, 100%.
But anyway, so you're lifting a lot.
Yeah,
So you're not like you didn't mention any cardio. So you just
I don't do cardio. I just lift heavy mostly.
That's crazy. So you
You burn way more calories by lifting heavy than by cardio. So cardio is only effective if done after the weights
hmm
because the body has glycogen.
hmm
So
Which again, you're not a doctor. You're just it's your opinion.
no, like, I'm not a doctor, but I know some. So I do watch a lot of videos,
Right.
and at one point I was flirting with the idea of doing a personal
Nutrition.
training nutrition course,
Uh-huh.
and I might still do that.
Uh-huh.
So I'm very interested in this field,
hmm
and this is also one of my passions, right?
hmm
So yeah, so the thing with cardio is that you have to if you just do cardio at the start you're not really doing anything because cardio, like just regular cardio, doesn't deplete your glycogen levels to the point, and after that, you don't have enough strength in the muscles to lift heavy.
hmm
So the best way to do cardio is lift heavy, and by lifting heavy, I mean you should be struggling to do 6 or 7 reps.
Mm.
You shouldn't be able to do 10.
Right.
If you're doing 10, then you're not lifting heavy.
Okay.
Yeah, lift heavy,
Man,
and
I'm
then
motivated. I want to go to the gym right now. Just freaking lift heavy.
no, you got a good
I've
you
been
got good arms, man.
yeah. I've been slacking though. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Like lately, like my motivation went down in terms
Yeah.
of working out, and I don't know what it is. I think it's one of the factors is the fact. Well, first of all, I ran out of my pre-workout, but I don't know. I think that's just
You don't need
psychological.
pre-workout.
I think that's
Samir.
psychological.
Yeah, it's totally psychological.
But the fact, like my gym is 2 floors below me,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's always there. And knows it's not going
Literally
anywhere.
no effort.
No
Literally
effort to get there, right?
Yeah.
Like when I used to have my gyms, like several blocks, like very far
Yeah.
away. I had to drive there. It was like, okay, I'm in a mission. Like this
Yeah.
needs to be done. Like I need
Yeah.
this needs to worth it. Now I was just like, I'm just gonna go, like try to do a couple reps. I'm just gonna go. So I really need to get into that mentality, is that to get that discipline to
Yeah.
get that pump. But for me personally, always what I feel like a 60% or 70% of like successful, just getting in shape is diet, of course. Like,
Yeah.
For me, it's just what are you eating?
So you lose weight in the kitchen. You don't lose weight in the gym.
Yeah.
But you just shape up and your body in the gym.
Right.
So if you're eating healthy and eating well in the kitchen, you'll not gain, even if you're not doing gym,
Hmm.
you'll not gain weight.
Hmm.
So you'll not go overweight. So you have to first
Yeah.
eat well.
So a little bit closer to the mic if
Yeah.
possible. Yeah, feel free to adjust it. Like you can like
Yeah.
put it up.
Yeah.
Um, what do you eat right now? What's your diet consist of?
So I mostly go for the stuff that's easiest to make.
What's that?
So that's usually rice, brown rice and beans,
Uh-huh.
brown rice and lentils.
Are you a vegetarian?
No,
Okay.
it's just like I couldn't be bothered.
Just eat
And
cooking
then
meat.
getting chicken and just cooking it.
Yeah, yeah,
For protein, so I have eggs a lot.
yeah. Hmm.
Some I have tofu, avocado. I have a lot of fruits. I eat a lot of nuts,
Hmm.
almonds, walnuts,
Right.
Brazil nuts. They're very good for everything.
I ate a lot of almonds just lately, and I
Yeah.
feel like they really dehydrate you. And I don't know.
If you're not, because almonds have a lot of omega-6, almonds and walnuts.
Uh-huh.
If you're not care, if you eat, there's this such thing as eating too much almonds.
Yeah.
Because if you eat too much of them, you have a lot of omega-6,
Uh-huh.
and that causes that's really bad for the skin and stuff.
Right.
And I was guilty of doing that. I was having like until recently, like 2 3 days, I was having like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it just
Yeah, I heard about that.
yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
for me, like it's mostly was like I feel like the water retains more if I'm eating almonds.
it's
Like in
got
my
a lot of
body.
fiber and stuff, so it can, if you eat too much, your body can't process
I see.
that amount.
Yeah.
So it has to be in moderation. It's great
Hmm.
as long as it's in moderation, just like any other thing, man.
Yeah, yeah. I had a bag of them from Kazakhstan, like
Yeah.
a kilo,
Yeah.
and I was just like eating. And the problem with me, if the food is on the table, I'm gonna eat it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have a lot of food in my place because
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm controlling myself by restricting myself from
Yeah.
any sort of
Yeah.
nutrition. But it's there, and like I gotta finish it. I want to eat it. So finally, I got through that. So I
Right.
think, and all of a sudden, I'm like 2 kilograms less after after I don't have it. Hey, so I kind of touched on that, but I want to hear your opinion. Well, how do you face any stigma in terms of like the fact that you're into this acting, modeling sort of role and not into engineering doctor role?
Right,
Like,
right, right.
how do you have like your family members, your friends? Do they sort of look at you weirdly, like because you're doing that and not the traditional way?
No, it's more of everyone's like, oh wow, oh, you're doing because it's not something which most people do,
Right.
and it's a very offbeat and like a different path.
Hmm.
But you touched upon the stigma, and I believe there's some of it as well,
Hmm.
because people think, I mean, some people think if you're doing something like modeling or something like this, you just you're not intelligent,
Hmm.
you can't do anything else, and that's why you're doing this, right?
Right.
You're not qualified. So yeah, that is a stigma that people sometimes have. They don't think, they're surprised when I tell them, oh,
Hmm.
I have like two masters, I've done an MBA,
Hmm.
and because they just assume that I would be like dumb.
Hmm.
Like,
Was that for you? Like, I don't know. How do you feel about it? Like switching, like cardinal, like
yeah,
taking a pivot to modeling,
yeah,
right? From being an MBA and like I
yeah,
guess aspiring to be some sort of a leader, manager.
yeah.
Um, was that a huge step for you? I know that you don't have any problem working at McDonald's like while
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
doing an MBA, but like was that like the complete change of your trajectory professionally? Was that a challenge for you? Were you thinking about that, or you just knew that you want to do it? And do you want to do it actually?
No, so I didn't. So I knew I wanted to do it. I didn't, like, for me, again, as I said, I don't want to miss an opportunity.
Mhm.
And there's like the rest of my life to do a regular job.
Right.
I can do that whenever I can. So to be honest, I didn't think much about it. I knew I wanted to do it, and it wasn't a very big deal to change,
Hmm.
because from my perspective, not a lot of people get this chance.
Right.
So
Well, yeah, you're pretty much in this industry. And you're in the best place to be,
yeah,
especially in Canada.
yeah, yeah.
But do you feel like you're? I don't know. If I were you, I would be stressing out sometimes. And I usually stress out a lot. But like
Mm.
the fact that you're like, oh man, like I maybe can do this, but I'm not doing this. Like I'm missing out on that opportunity. And
There's a bit of, yeah, you're right. There's a bit of like not stress,
anxiety.
but there's uncertainty,
Uh-huh.
because right now, like, I'm just doing like photo shoots and stuff. I don't have I've done like some commercial work, but it's not regular, and it's still going to auditions and just,
Right.
it's in that phase.
Mm-hmm.
So as of now, I don't have much work.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you
You're at the
have to have,
beginning of your path
yeah,
as
you
well.
have to have money coming in from somewhere.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's a bit struggle. So, and the only thing I know I can, like anyone can sustain this is they have to have a side hustle or a
yeah.
side job.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If someone is just relying on this and just holding out that they'll get something,
Mm-hmm.
it won't work out that way, because then that you have the desperation that shows when you go for auditions as well. You can't be seem desperate,
Got it.
and then it just doesn't work out.
Do you have any role models that you look up to in this industry or acting as well?
Uh, Role models. Like I do follow some models. Like there's a model called Daniel Meritz.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very big model from South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and he just I do watch his videos, and he
Mm-hmm.
talks about uh like how to be how like the diet, like your
Mm-hmm.
attitude and everything else. Is a very very nice personality and very a good inspiration to follow. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
do follow him. I also connect with him on Instagram, like, and yeah, he also like messaged me back once, so that was great.
Oh, cool. I love when, celebrities
Yeah,
do that. It's
yeah,
really,
yeah,
a great touch, and I feel like everyone should do that
yeah.
in terms of celebrities. And everyone should DM their idols and role models on Instagram and
Right.
just,
Such a great platform because you can essentially reach out to anyone, and if you're lucky enough, you'll get a reply back, and
absolutely,
that feels very nice.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Um, to conclude this conversation, which
yeah,
was a great conversation, I was wondering, like, for young aspiring, just, people, like, let's say from your country, like,
yeah,
what would you that want to come to Canada
yeah,
and achieve this great success
yeah,
in whatever they want to do?
yeah.
What would you tell them? How they should
The
approach this?
right career path, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my first advice would be to apply like come as a permanent resident,
Mm-hmm.
because what I did was I came as a student and then applied for my residency.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I say that is even if you want to study, right? The fees difference is massive.
Mm-hmm.
If you like, I, for example, spend about $85,000, $80,000 to $85,000
Mm-hmm.
on my MBA.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a Canadian resident, which I am now,
Mm-hmm.
I would have spent like 40, and
Mm-hmm.
I would have gotten a very low interest loan as well
Mm-hmm.
for that.
Mm-hmm.
So one, come as a permanent resident, and because there's always a difference. Like it's way like I won't say it's easier to get a job, but then you're not. I mean, you're more at peace from it. Like like I'm a resident. I don't. There's no
You don't have
clock.
to answer to, like, will you require a sponsorship in the future? And you're like,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's what I like. It's just like finally I can just say no. Yeah.
And that's one. Come as a permanent resident, and B, just get out of your comfort zone. Don't stay where everyone is staying,
Mm-hmm.
because then you won't. Canada is a great place
Mm-hmm.
because you can get to meet so many different people you wouldn't have met otherwise ever.
Mm-hmm.
Like a good example is that I met with you, right?
Yeah, and we're doing this podcast,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
now other people will listen to you.
yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool. Hey, quick question! I just
Yeah.
remembered. Um, on your Instagram, there was a post where you are wearing like the boxing outfit. What was that for? Was it just like a photo shoot
Yeah, it
or?
was a photo shoot. Yeah, it was a sports themed photo shoot.
Nice,
So there's one with the football, there's like a
cool,
basketball.
cool.
Yeah.
Hey, how can people follow you? Like, where do they need to, like? What's your Instagram handle?
So my Instagram is druv26.
Dhruv26.
Druv26. Yeah.
Why 26?
That's my birth date.
Oh, okay.
26th of July.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And we're both 28.
28. Yeah.
Yeah,
Both
yeah. It's
28.
crazy. Same age, both MBAs.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Like we have surprisingly a lot in common. You also have an economics background, an
Yeah.
MBA, economics and
Yeah,
MBA.
yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I haven't really met anyone like that before.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Both of us good looking.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Just you're the one. You're the handsome one.
Oh, man.
Anyways, hey Dhruv, thanks so much for coming
Thank
to
you.
my podcast. If there's anything else you'd like to do, like a shout out to whoever, you feel free to do it right now. Or if there's any way to reach you, you can give your phone numbers. Go ahead. If not, So what do you think?
No, just reach me out if like it'll be amazing if you could follow me on Instagram, and I'll like just message me druv26, and yeah, just DM me anytime. And yeah, my email is also same druv2691. The 91 is when I was born, at gmail.com. So
Perfect.
yeah,
Awesome. Dhruv, thanks
yeah.
so much.
Thank you
Really
so much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, this was Azizi Podcast. Thanks, everyone. Watch, like, subscribe. We are on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and all the podcasting platforms, as well as this video platform. So thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.